Hey everyone, this is going to be my comparison of all the 2021 Star Wars sets, and let's dive right into it. Let's get to our different categories here. I have the box art, which is new. For the previous 2021 versions, I didn't do this. Minifigs, the play, the design, the value, and then which is my favorite ranked in order. And I have all the sets listed here in order by their number, from lowest to tallest, and then we'll go through the total, and we'll see who wins. Alright guys, here's all the box arts laid out, and I have them in order. My personal favorite is the Luke Skywalker's X-Wing. I think it's absolutely awesome that it's in the Death Star trench. I think that's a really cool idea that they had. My next is actually going to be a tie between the Imperial Shuttle and the Imperial Tie Fighter. They are actually the same box art virtually. They both have the Death Star. They both have explosions. And I'm not going to just rank the Imperial Shuttle above it just because it has, is a bigger set so you get to see more of it. I just think they're virtually the same box art, so I'm not going to rank one above the other. And the next is the Trouble on Tatooine. Then we go the Tauntaun versus AT-AT Microfighters, or vice versa, AT-AT versus Tauntaun. And then we got the Millennium Falcon Microfighter. And then my personal least favorite is the Resistance X-Wing. You could go either way with that or the Millennium Falcon Microfighter, but I think they're both a little lackluster. I just like this one a little bit worse. Here are all these sets laid out with their figures. And let's start off with my favorite figures. Again, the Luke Skywalker's X-Wing wins. It comes with the most figures, and quite honestly the best. That Luke print is, I think, exclusive because it's kind of dangling down his chest piece there. We've seen R2 several times before. This is the first time we've seen a General Dodonna, and that is actually really, really awesome. Now this Princess Leia figure isn't new, but we've only seen her in one other set. That other set being the $200 Tantive 4. So it's definitely awesome to get her again. My second favorite figures, we all saw it coming, are the Trouble on Tatooine figures. That Beskar Mando is an absolute carry. With that arm print and that awesome silver color throughout the torso and legs, he's just so awesome. It is always nice to get another Tusken Raider, and this is the cheapest set to get the child in, but that Beskar Mando just absolutely carries, and that's why it's second place. And actually at third place, I'm going to go with the AT-AT vs Tauntaun Microfighter figures. That Luke has an exclusive head print, which is awesome. It's on a white head, but then they print the tan and everything else on there, and it just looks absolutely awesome. You get his blaster, which is a stud shooter sadly, but you also get his lightsaber. And then coming over to the AT-AT driver or pilot, I think it's driver. He's only seen in the $160 AT-AT, so it's really awesome to get him in this set. So yeah, that's definitely why this set comes in at third. And fourth place is going to be the Imperial Tie Fighter figures. Now personally, you could argue that these figures are better, but I'm actually going to go with the Imperial Tie Fighter. The NIL-8 is just absolutely awesome. I love the subtle detail of the red, blue, and yellow on his torso for the wires. That is absolutely awesome. For both the Imperial Tie Fighter, or Tie Fighter Pilot, and the Imperial Stormtrooper, you get different heads. It's not that angry clone anymore, which is awesome. And personally, I will agree that the old Stormtrooper helmet was a little bit better, but I really do love this new helmet mold, and I really hope they keep that around. My only problem with these figures, which is what's maybe holding it back from these, I don't know. I think these are still better, but it's very close. I knocked him over. The tan on the back of his neck, that is just not accurate, and it just looks really funky. But besides that, I do think they are better than the Imperial Shuttle figures. And coming in at that fifth place spot is going to be the Imperial Shuttle figures. That Imperial Officer is technically exclusive. Again, I think it is the leg print. I haven't checked on that. I said the same thing in my Imperial Shuttle review. I don't know exactly what it is. I just know it's exclusive. This Luke figure, it's actually the cheapest version of this Luke that we've seen. It's a $70 set. That's kind of shocking. So that's cool to get, I suppose, even though I already have him, and I'm sure a couple of you guys do as well. And Darth Vader, to a lot of people, is a disappointment. He doesn't come with the arm print. The reason I also have this Luke is from that Death Star Final Duel, so I already have the arm printed Vader, so it doesn't bother me too much, but to some people, it can be a little upsetting. And coming in at sixth place is going to be the Resistance X-Wing. BB-8, we've seen him before. He's a pretty good figure. But that Poe Dameron we've also seen before. It's just a silver blaster he has there. It's the same torso and leg print we've seen plenty of times before. But that helmet is outstanding. It's the entire reason I bought the set, in all honesty. It is just so cool and really detailed. And that's definitely why it's going to rank above the Han Solo figure there. And coming in here at 7th is going to be the Han Solo figure. The only reason it's last is because it's one figure. I mean, every single other set has more than one figure, but it's my first ever Han Solo, so it holds a special place in my heart. And he looks really, really good. It's honestly a really good figure. It's only the one figure, and that's why it ranks below all the other sets. All right, now we are on to our playability category. So let's get to my number 1 pick. I think my number 1 pick is actually going to be the Imperial Shuttle. I mean, who wouldn't want to fly this thing around? It is just absolutely awesome. I didn't mention earlier, this does not come with a stand. This is my personal stand, so I can stand it up. But who wouldn't want to play with this thing? It is really good looking. You got 3 figures. You can have a conflict with Luke and Vader. You can have those 2 fight. So I think it's really good for what it is. Guys, in 2nd place, I have the Trouble on Tatooine set. I was discussing putting it in at first because of the cool conflicts you can have with Mando and the Tusken Raider. I mean, they each have their own vehicle, unlike in the Imperial Shuttle. Vader and the Imperial Officer have one vehicle and Luke has nothing. However, I feel that this offers much more playability than just those little things. But I do think that this is the 2nd best playability because of that conflict, and that's why it's at 2nd place. Coming in at 3rd place, I'm actually going to go with the other Microfighters, the AT-AT versus the Tauntaun, because you have a conflict there, and you can have those guys duke it out. They each have stud shooters, so they can each shoot, and that's a cool playability in and of itself. Next, for playability-wise, I'm actually going to combine the X-Wing and the TIE Fighter. You can open both cockpits, you can shoot the spring-loaded shooters on both of them. The only thing that would offer maybe some more playability is the fact that there's one more figure here, but that's pretty much it. I mean, you can also open the wings here, so you can maybe put the X-Wing above the TIE Fighter, but I'm actually going to be tying them. I'm also going to be tying these 2. Yes, this one has one more figure, however, there's nothing to shoot on this thing. Now, you can't open the wings, I suppose, but on the Millennium Falcon Microfighter, you can throw in Han Solo, similar to these 2. But you have these stud shooters on top, which offers more playability. And I think it's definitely more swooshable, especially when you have the BB on the back and it's kind of hard to get a good grip. So I'm actually going to put them both tied for playability. Now let's get on to the design category. In 1st place for design, I'm going to go with the X-Wing. I think it definitely is the best. The only really other, I'd say, competition would actually be the TIE Fighter. However, the cockpit's too small, and the Imperial Shuttle, but it has that crimson chin. So really, it's going to be kind of a given that the X-Wing is going to win. In 2nd place for design, I'm actually going to go with the TIE Fighter. Though the cockpit is too small or the wings are too small, it's definitely better than that crimson chin of the Imperial Shuttle. So I am going to give it the nod. And coming in at 3rd is going to be the Imperial Shuttle. Yes, it has that crimson chin, but the rest of it, if you can block that out and just focus your eyes on the white and light gray, it looks awesome. It just looks so good and clean, besides that ugly crimson chin. Next for design, this might be a bit of a shocker, but I'm actually going to go with the AT-AT vs Tauntaun Microfighters. I think compared to the old AT-AT Microfighter, this one is a good step in the right direction. And this Tauntaun is actually really close, if not minifigure scale. So that's accurate in a way, and I think it's really cool. And that's why I'm going to get it the nod at 4. Coming in at 6th place is the Millennium Falcon Microfighter. The reason it's so low is because I just think all the other sets have better designs, and it's just a remake of the old 2 Millennium Falcon Microfighters. It is hardly changed really at all, so that's just why it's not going to be higher up on the list. However, coming in last, which I'm sure you all saw, is definitely going to be this Resistance X-Wing. It is just really bad. You look at the side, the nose is supposed to be much longer, and the cockpit doesn't even, like, there's just a large gap in the it's just bad. It's just bad. That's pretty much all there is to it. There's no, like, engines on the back. Like, the engines on the front, these engines here shouldn't, like, apply the same on the back. So it's just inaccurate. It's very inaccurate, and that's why it's last on the list. And now let's get on to the price or the value category. In 1st place here for value, I'm going to go with the X-Wing, and the reason being, it comes with the most figures, more than the $70 Imperial Shuttle, and the previous version was $80, and it was only just barely an inch longer, and that's $30 less for an inch shorter. I would easily take that deal, and that's easily why it's coming into 1st place. I think coming in here at second place is going to be the Imperial Tie Fighter. And the reason I say that is because I think for $40, you're getting an awesome set. Considering the previous version was $80 or $70, and to have these same exact, really features in general. You have the same swooshability, you have the same cockpit feature, and you have the same spring-loaded shooters. I mean, in a way, it's the same exact playability too. So that's really cool for that, and I think it definitely is going to be here second for value. Honestly, guys, I've been really thinking about it, and I think for the value, I'm going to tie the Trouble on Tatooine, the AT-AT vs. Tauntaun, the Imperial Shuttle, and the Millennium Falcon Microfighter. I don't think you can go wrong with any of those sets, and I don't see one being jarringly overpricey, one jarringly cheap. I think they're all really good price to part ratio. You get some really good figures, exclusive pilot, exclusive Beskar Mando, and you know the child in his cheapest set, exclusive Luke, the AT-AT driver in a cheaper set rather than the $160 AT-AT, and this thing, it's just your typical Microfighter, and it has a really good Han Solo figure. So I just can't really have one above the other, and I think I'm just going to honestly tie them all. And notice how in that last clip I didn't include this set? Yeah, this is definitely the worst value. Now again, price to piece isn't everything, but I definitely think the piece count is low for $20. This does not seem like a $20 set to me at all. Besides that really cool Poe Dameron headpiece, I really do like that. If it wasn't for that headpiece, I wasn't going to buy this set, let's be real. That headpiece alone is what sold it to me, and I think it's definitely the worst value. Now, let's get on to what I think is my favorite set and rank them from there. Personally, guys, my favorite is the Imperial Shuttle. I know it doesn't have the greatest minifigures, it doesn't have the greatest design. However, I do still think it is my favorite set. I love this thing. It's so cool with the little stand I made. I just love it, and personally, I do like the minifigures it comes with. I do wish it included something else, like maybe a Stormtrooper or something, but I think for the most part, it is a pretty good set, and it is my favorite of the bunch. Coming in here at second, I'm actually going to have another tie. I don't know which one I like more. I'm sure all of you would choose the X-Wing over the TIE Fighter, but this TIE Fighter holds a little spot in my heart. I really do love this thing, and I honestly was thinking about ranking it over the X-Wing. I really was. But for the sake, I'll just tie them both and leave you guys with that. My next favorite set's going to be the Trouble on Tatooine. I just love the figures. The figures are awesome. The Beskar Mando, you can't beat it. It's so clean. You can never go wrong with another Tusken Raider. And hey, it's the cheapest one you get the child in. Coming in at fifth place is going to be the AT-AT vs. Tauntaun Microfighters. Love the Luke figure. Love the AT-AT driver, especially when he's only in this $20 set compared to the $160 set. And the AT-AT, Microfighter is a pretty solid Microfighter. But that Tauntaun Microfighter is absolutely awesome. It looks really good. And hey, it's minifigure scale as far as I know, so that's really awesome about that. Easily at number 6 is going to be the Millennium Falcon Microfighter. I love the Han Solo figure. I really do love this set, so I love to hear that it's second to last as much as I love it. So that's really good to see, and that just shows you how good LEGO did this wave of the 2021 sets. Coming in at last place quite easily is this Resistance X-Wing. It's a really sloppy build. I think the value is the worst. The figures are kind of lackluster, quite honestly, besides that Poe Dameron headpiece. That is so clean. You take that off though, the figures are really lackluster too. And this is the set, probably the only set of the wave I wouldn't recommend. Alright guys, here is your score. If you guys are curious, I'm now going to tally up the total. Here are your final scores all tallied up. Luke Skywalker's X-Wing out first with 38 points. The Imperial Shuttle and the Imperial TIE Fighter fighting for second with the Imperial Shuttle just edging out by 1 point with 33, and the TIE Fighter with 32. The Trouble on Tatooine has got 29 points, which just got it good enough for fourth. At fifth place, we have the AT-AT vs. Tauntaun Microfighters with 26 points. At sixth, just barely not coming in last, is the Millennium Falcon Microfighter, though I think it is a ways better than the Resistance X-Wing, which placed seventh at 12 points. And those are your final scores. Thank you guys so much for sticking around all the way to the end of the video. If you guys wouldn't mind, you can like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on all these sets, anything I can do to improve my future reviews. In fact, my future reviews might actually be on this counter because I really like the lighting that it provides. And I'm on the road to 100 subscribers, so if you guys wouldn't mind subscribing, that'd be awesome. Up here's a playlist of some videos you might not have seen yet, so go check those out. Down here's a recommended video for you. And here's my channel. Again, if you guys wouldn't mind subscribing, that'd be awesome. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.